So let's start day 6. I have cut this board previously, and I've installed it now. It's slightly more elevated and everything else. I can put my hand up underneath it. That way it's not sitting directly on this board. This is all dry now. It still looks kind of but it is dry. It might still have some moisture on the inside, but the outside is dry. So I'm going to go ahead and attach stuff to it. I did keep this elevated just in case it starts soaking up some of that moisture on the inside. So this way it's not sitting on top of it, so it's not going to. Also did put a board behind it as a brace. I'm not going to do that on this side. This side's not as bad. I am going to probably put that piece directly on it. I think this isn't as bad as that side is. So shouldn't have to worry about that. I did cut this out earlier this morning. Cut out the knots so it can sit right here. Cut out knots, go around the pipe. I'm going to have it flush with this, as well as I got another board that's going to go over here and basically do the same thing. I've got the notch cut out of it. And then I will start kind of building out my corner. But before I do that, I need to kind of know about how wide my corner is. So I'm going to put this, and that's going to go roughly about right there. That corner, I got it cut out, and then this is going to go straight up from there. Still got to run 2x4s from here down on both sides. That way whenever I put my concrete board on, I have spots to screw onto on the sides. I got this for the top, that for the bottom. It sets in too much for it to do the center. I could have put it forward, but I decided not to. I'd rather have 2 instead of just 1. And then up here, that's where the concrete board is going to sit. These are actually going to be inside the wall, so it's not going to be able to sit on those. So I'm going to have to put another piece up here. I'll probably take a small scrap piece, kind of cut out a corner, and mount it in there and call it good. Then after that piece and those 2x4s, this is going to be framed up and ready. That should be about the only other lumber I got to do. Besides, I'm going to do a couple more boards on the curb to build it a little bit higher, since the floor and the shower pan is going to be higher than what I had expected. to wait till this dries. This will be tomorrow sometime, maybe tomorrow night, so it might be 2 days before we can actually get started on the next layer. But it looks pretty good if you ask me. So it's day 8 of the shower remodel. The first layer of mud that we did is completely dry. I'm about to take apart this drain housing and stuff and lay down my pan liner and attach all that. After I get my pan liner done, I will probably go back at some point today and do the second layer of mud. I don't know if I'm going to do it right when I get it done or not. It might be later this afternoon sometime. Mainly because today's Sunday and there's football, so I want to watch that around noon and stuff. So yeah, but I'm going to put the pan liner down. At some point we will get to the second layer of mud and let that dry. So I'm not that crazy about this corner. It kind of bumps out a little bit. Maybe if I kind of press it in, it won't be as bad. But what I really don't like is this little gap I got right here. So I'm going to take some of my extra pan liner that I cut out. And I'm just going to make a little patch there. Oh, it's kind of cut. I can get it there. I can seal it this way and that way. That way it'll kind of be pretty good. Make sure you're using the right adhesive. I make a shower pan liner adhesive just for this. So make sure you're using the right thing. Go ahead and cook that up a little bit. I got it over the back of this, and then you just kind of go place it about where you want it. That's all I gotta do for those corners. You do try to find where your drain is. They recommend you kind of cutting it beforehand, but I don't really like that idea. That kind of means I don't have any wiggle room. So you just kind of make little X's on where bolts are. Put your pan. Don't make them too big, just as big enough for your bolt to eventually pop through. About the width of your bolts. So just kind of how they are. Make little slits. I probably could have made it a little bit bigger. Voila. You have that. Now you got your actual drain part. Usually you'll want to cut an X there as well. Some people like to cut out the circle. I like doing the X, that way it flaps down, and that's also another form of waterproofing around that flange. You ain't gotta worry about it seeping underneath it, because as it runs down, it's going to run over the top of that. Once you get that done, I guess I kind of put that X there so you can set this on top. Put it down. Let's turn it. Oh. Yeah, that's how it is. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but you can see some of that caulking kind of starting to come up from those cracks and such. So that's how you know that that's doing its job, sealing it, because it's easing up through that. We are about ready to do the second layer of mud. Here's our drain. Here's some of the rocks. They recommend pea gravel, or that's what they suggest anyways. But you want it kind of on the inside, so that way it's not, you don't have to worry about your mortar or mud bed or whatever to seep into your weep holes. So I got my mud made. Or at least a bucket of it. Like I did yesterday, we'll start in this corner, where corner pieces, and kind of build up around the edge, and then I'll slope towards the center. I might do a little bit around this, kind of hold these rocks into place so I'm not hitting it and having to constantly try to straighten all that up. So it is day 9 of the shower renovation. Last night when I was doing that top layer of mud, my camera's memory card got completely full and cut it off. I didn't realize it. So yeah, I got a little bit more done than what y'all seen. I still didn't get it completely done. I had intended on doing the whole layer, that way it'd dry overnight, and today, you know, it'd be dry and I could start putting some cement board and stuff up. I checked it just a little bit ago after I got up, and it's still a little wet. It's mostly dry, but not fully. But like I said, I didn't finish it because I ran out of mud. Again, I'm making another trip to Lowe's. That way I can get the last bag of mud, and hopefully that will be the last trip to Lowe's I have to make. I keep saying this every time I go. But yeah, I doubt it. Seeing how many bags of mud I've had to get so far. I don't remember exactly how many, probably close to 10 or so, to do these 2 layers and then fill in that little hole. But I don't know. But this will be the last bag of mud I have to get. I know that because it's got a little corner. A bag should do it. I might have a little extra, I don't know. All right, I'm back home. I got the mud, got my work clothes on. I'm about to go ahead and do that, and I've just realized I haven't showed y'all me actually missing it any. Out of all these bags, I think this is bag like number 10 or something. So I figured I'd bring you all out here with me, and we'll get started. So yeah. Basically, for this mud, you don't want it to be as wet as regular cement. For regular cement, you kind of want it gooey and not really soupy, but you want it to kind of have a little bit of thickness to it, but you still want it really wet. But for this, you want it more dry. Some people actually call this mud dry mud. even though you're adding water and stuff. You want it drier. You don't want it as wet and goopy. You want to be able to kind of make a little ball and kind of toss it around without it falling apart. This is a little bit more on the wet side, right here. Some of this is a little bit wetter than what I'd want, but for the majority of it, it's like a little mud ball without it really falling apart. If it just starts crumbling, that means it's still too dry. If it gets too wet, it starts really just kind of sagging and seeping through your fingers and stuff. So you can kind of estimate that way. So there's our bucket of mud, our last, hopefully, bucket of mud. So yeah, we're about to go back inside and we're going to get finished with this shower pan. So you can tell this is starting to harden some. Still got a little bit of moisture. That's why you still see some of the brown, and it's not fully gray because it's still got some moisture. It's not completely dried, but it's dry to the touch. I wouldn't recommend building on it yet, but standing on it and stuff probably wouldn't hurt it too bad. And I still got more mud. This isn't all of it. I still got about half a bucket in there. I don't want to pour it all right here just yet.